how can we show this?
Sorry, who mentioned?
I mean, do we need a USB to?
I can give you the slides. Don't worry, don't worry.
Oh.
Maybe you can send through an email. No problem. It's okay. Up to you.
I mean,
Or
Doctor, I think they meant the
for
slides.
today and for the last one also. The last one
No,
last week.
I think-
our
remember
own
presenting.
slides. The slides
Oh,
we are
you mean
presenting.
your slides? Oh my gosh! No, forget about it now. We will have at the end of the lecture, and this is not going to be marked.
Ah.
It has nothing with your marking, of course. But at least we want to make sure that you are doing on your assignments. That's it. So at least you will have comments from me and Dr. David and maybe from your classmates. So okay, yeah. For the week before this, we talked about what? Problem statement. Yeah, formulation of your problem statement. What else? What did we say about problem statement? Yeah, should be like what? Yeah, it's the issue that you are investigating in your study. It should be also significant, right? And your own issue or,
Can be in questions, right?
sorry?
Can be in questions or in a statement.
Statement, of course, it's a statement. That's why it's called statement. But should it be your, I mean, how can you drive your problem from where? From where you
Current
can,
issues.
sources, I mean, huh?
Current issues.
Current issues, yeah,
Social
that you may have
issues.
observed, right? Or you observe in your maybe daily work or yeah, wherever you are. So, or whatever you want to, among whom. So the problem should state what is it exactly, and okay, how can you tell us that your problem statement is significant and important to investigate? So you have to give a rationale for it, and at the same time you have to, the most important part, sorry, support from previous research, right? We also talked about what? How to formulate your objectives. Yeah, we said objectives should be specific, right? And should be listed in such points. Number one, to investigate or to identify the challenges of blah blah. Number two, you can say to examine, to investigate, whatever your objective is. So they should be specific because they are the focus of your study. From your research objectives and questions, yeah, I can see whether your study is focused or not. Okay, we talked also about how to construct our research questions, right? What did we say about them? They should be based on what? The objectives, of course. Yeah, after listing your objectives very clear, 2 or 3, then each specific objective should have one research question. For example, let's say, okay, to identify the challenges faced by postgraduates in research methodology. Then my research questions will be like, if I say to investigate the challenge or to identify the challenges, what will my research questions look like?
What are the challenges?
What are the challenges? Yes, very good. So, okay, and we also talked about research hypothesis, right? Especially in what kind of research this should be?
Quantitative.
Quantitative research, yeah. And hypothesis should be based on the research questions, right? Okay, we said it could be alternate or the other one, the other type of hypothesis.
No.
Null hypothesis means zero, yeah. There is no relationship between blah blah and blah blah, okay? So usually we use such hypothesis to investigate the impact of something on something, or maybe the relationship between dependent and independent variables. So okay, it should be that there should be correlations between these variables or not correlations. It's later on through your results you can prove this. And for today we are going to talk about literature review. What did Dr. David teach you last week? Variables, yes. So we are going smoothly now. We will move to the literature review. Okay. So for this lecture, at least you will be familiar with what a literature review, its functions, how to organize your literature review, what to do when you want to write literature review, why literature review is important in writing your thesis proposal or thesis or an article. So all this we will be talking today, and we will try to have some time for the presentations later on. Okay. First, before we start talking, okay, who can define a literature review? What do we mean by a literature review? Yeah, anything that it comes to your mind. You want to say something?
Some of the past researcher who
Mhm.
done
She said, okay, some of past research done, right? Past research. What else? Who can add? Supporting what?
like your or research
Okay.
questions.
Support research, okay. Supporting your research. What else? What do we mean by a literature review? Have you ever read a literature review? I'm sure you did, right? Hello, morning to you.
Yeah.
What can you say?
Literature review is basically reading of previous literature of the same topic
Mm-hmm.
that can either support or give inform.
So we can say a summary, right?
Yeah.
Of research, okay, on your topic. Okay, a summary of research on your topic. What else? Yeah, you want to say something? You, anyone from here? Yeah, there should be.
I would just
Anything,
an
any idea,
overview
just
of
any
everything
simple idea,
related to
whatever
your
comes to
topic.
your mind, okay? Sorry?
Like an overview of everything related to your topic.
Overview,
kind
okay.
of compressed.
You want to say something, or what's that? Overview of research on your topic, yeah. So good definition so far, okay.
Maybe try to find some gap.
What's that?
Revising.
What's it?
I'll try to find some gap or some problem.
Very good, a very good one, okay. So gap. You know gap. What's the gap? When I say a gap in previous research, what do I mean?
Something new. Something new. Discover something.
No, I mean the gap. Okay. The gap, what's that, the gap?
What is lacking?
Something lacking, yes? Something which has not been this something, right? Yeah, not, you can say lacking. Sometimes not totally lacking, of course. Maybe little research has been done on this. So it's a gap, there is a need, right? So that's why you need to investigate this particular issue or phenomenon in your study. Okay, let's go now. Yeah, what you said so far is all about the literature review, but this is not enough. Yeah, all your answers, especially here, you can say like a summary of previous studies, right? But here we have gaps, very good. Then we will be talking about something else besides this. So it's an overview of what? Who said overview? Yeah, it's okay, good. What has been published on a particular research topic, right? It's a critical. You circle the word critical. Critical means what? When I look at the literature review, previous research, I shouldn't just summarize whatever I have found, but I should look at it critically.
You critique it.
Yeah, but not necessarily negative things. Sometimes we call it appraisal. You know appraisal? Yeah, we highlight the strengths and the positive things of these studies. At the same time, we highlight the gaps. So this is what we mean by critical. Sometimes we call it critical evaluation, because you are not just summarizing, you are also evaluating what has been done so far and what is it related to your study. So, one of the functions of a literature review, it establishes a context. What do we mean by this? When you establish a context through your literature review, how? The context, of course, of your study, I mean. Let's say, okay, this is here. You have here, like this. Okay, so you are almost here, right? And here many studies around you, right? Yeah, but you are trying to say to us where you are from this big literature review. From what has been done so far in on this research topic, through the literature review, you can also tell your readers where you are, where your study is contextualized. So this is a context. You have to set up boundaries. You know boundaries, as we talked in the research questions, so they are the guidance, they are the focus of your study, the research questions, right? The same also the literature review. Because you will find much literature review has been done on this topic, but you are not going to review all things, just whatever is related to the specific focus of your investigation. Is it okay? And a literature review also serves as, it shows why the question, the issue investigated is significant. From the literature review, you can argue whether this gap is important, whether this kind of investigation is important, then you support. All this through your literature review. As your friend said here, highlight gaps. Gaps and flaws, sometimes we call it deficiencies, in earlier research. Later I will show you an example of what a gap looks like. You forgot this one. This is very, very important. And most of the issues that as students sometimes we face in writing a literature review, this will be lacking sometimes. What I mean, maybe the students just will summarizes individual studies, but without trying to make a synthesis of it. You know, synthesize? What does it mean, synthesize? When you synthesize something, you
Take the old ones and put in your own words.
Very near to it. Yes, good. You want to say something?
Find the similarities and differences.
Very good. Find similarities and differences. What else?
Paraphrase it in your own words.
Paraphrase, that's something different. One strategy is important in writing a literature review. But suppose that now I give you several parts of different things, then I will let you, what you want to say? She said like this.
Link together.
Link together, very good. A synthesis is putting things together as a whole. So you are trying to offer your readers, supervisor, whatever, at the end of the day, a complete picture, right, of what you have reviewed. Of course, when you reviewed individual studies, right? One study by 2012, for example, another study 2010. So all these you are putting together as one, a synthesis. This is what we call synthesis. We will have more about this later. Synthesizing previous research. Okay. Remember this, knowledge is accumulative. Can you tell me what do you mean by knowledge is accumulative? How can knowledge be accumulative?
Everyone make a little contribution and then increase the
Very good. Yes, your friend said now, someone contributes something or a little, then another one contributes also to this. So, okay, we put them together as one body of knowledge, right? Okay, it means that one study now when you investigate a certain topic, right? You will find studies already done in your area from 2012, 2011, 2000. So you will see each study has contributed something to previous knowledge, okay? And your studies will also contribute to this. That's why we call it as accumulative knowledge. Means that we build up, construct knowledge, over time by many people, not just by one or two. Many people, of course, many researchers. Each study contributes to a previous one, thus constructing a body of knowledge. That's why we have to have a good literature review in our thesis, proposal, article, research report, whatever kind or pieces of research, we have to have a literature review. We cannot just we go, okay, I want to do this, but nothing. I haven't read. I don't want to summarize previous studies. So how? Yeah. So in any academic forms of research or disseminations of research, you need to have a literature review of your previous studies. Okay, when we talk about literature review, what is the simple idea that comes to your mind?
Time consuming.
Time consuming. No, I'm not asking you to describe. I'm asking you, I mean, okay, where can I find it in that? Yeah, I mean in the thesis or in the paper, research article. Okay, let's say research article, for example.
The second chapter.
She said the second chapter, a very good answer, yes. Usually, in this case, when we talk about literature review, what comes to our mind? Okay, the second chapter. If it's an article, it will be the second section, right, after the introduction. So, okay, but is that correct? I mean, when we talk about literature review, just we are now like limiting it to specific section, right? But it's okay. Yeah, we have a literature review as a one section, so we call it a kind of text which should follow certain rules and some moves, all these things, and some features, even linguistic features. So genre, you know genre? Yeah. So yeah, we can say it's a genre, like when they study, for example, the abstract. It's a genre because writers usually follow certain moves. Similarly also to the introduction. But here, what I mean is that the literature review shouldn't be only limited to that particular section or chapter, but it should be done by you in everywhere. Okay, let's say you are introducing your topic in the introduction, right? So a background. Are you going to use literature review? Of course, yes, you will cite some studies. That's a literature review. For example, when you start topic and defining what you are going to investigate, all these things we are doing out of the literature review. Again, you will support your problem statement. From where? Literature review. I mean, the whole study, there will be literature review to support what you are saying, describing, okay? Except if I say a thesis, so the exception will be the abstract plus your findings, which is chapter 4, because this is yours. Then the discussion again in chapter 5, you will have to discuss your findings within the theories and the previous studies that you have reviewed in chapter 2. So almost all the piece of research there will be literature review. Even if it's an article, the same thing, only the abstract plus, but some articles you will say, hi, yeah, you can join them here. Could you please take a table from there or here? Yeah, thank you.
Actually, why don't
So,
we just put another table?
Sorry, we started talking about literature review, okay? So, okay, if it's an article, also exclude the abstract, then your findings maybe, which is section 4 after the methodology, but in some journals, they will ask you also to have findings and discussion together, so you cannot skip the literature review. What I mean, literature review is important. It shouldn't be just limited to that section or to that chapter, but you will have to cite some studies in your problem statement, in your introduction, even sometimes in the methodology. When you say, okay, the current study uses this particular research design, here you have to justify why this research design is suitable to your study. Maybe you will have to cite like Creswell and all those scholars in methodology.
Doctor,
Yes.
does that mean that whatever research, literature review that we have done in the other sections, we should also sort of summarize it in the literature review section as well?
Mostly, yeah. Most of the time, whatever you find in the introduction should be in the literature review, but
So it's repeated.
not necessarily. Okay, suppose that now I am doing a thesis, okay? I am doing a thesis in a particular comment, for example, topic, let's say beer writing or whatever, among EFL, whatever you want to do. Then from those studies, I haven't found studies related to my context where, for example, Arab students or whoever you are investigating this group of population. Then, but you find other studies which support your problem statement, so you cite them in the problem statement, but not necessarily to be in the literature review. However, your question is good because in the introduction, sometimes we have to introduce the topic, meaning that we have to cite studies which I am going to do in details later in chapter 2. Okay?
So the literature review section is a more detailed part.
Of course, the more detailed, yeah.
Summary, basically.
Yeah. And this is what we are going to talk about all. When we talk about it, here we will be talking about your second chapter, either in the thesis, second section maybe in your proposal, and also a second section in a research paper. So we call this literature review, though the size is different, of course. That one is chapter and that one is section, but almost have the same characteristics. Okay, so it's not exclusive to that section of a paper or chapter of your thesis, but inclusive of the whole study except abstract and results. You will find citation everywhere, right? Okay. So when you introduce your topic, support your problem statement, of course you will have to cite some studies. Construct your theoretical framework, design your methodology, and to discuss your findings later. In chapter 5, you have this one chapter discussion. The discussion here, you are discussing your results or findings in relation to previous research. Okay. What should my chapter look like? So when we talk about a thesis, we know that chapter 2 should be dedicated to the literature review, right? Okay. Have you ever read a thesis? Of course, right? Okay, what do you know about the second chapter? What is there? What is it inside the chapter? What have you seen? I mean the components. Framework, very good. What we call it exactly? What kind of framework? Theoretical framework means a theory, your theory that you use in your study. So, okay, theoretical framework. What else? What else?
Conceptual framework.
Okay, theory we can call, or theoretical framework. Conceptual, some they have conceptual. And where can you find the conceptuals? Because it depends on the discipline, what you are doing, and sometimes your negotiation with your supervisor, sometimes there are variations a little bit, but most of the time you will find the theoretical framework in your the first section of your second chapter. The first section in your second chapter will be the theoretical framework. Sometimes they have a conceptual framework which is in chapter 1. But it depends on, different things, so there are variations a little bit. So what is a theoretical framework? What is it? Can you tell me what is the theoretical framework or a theory?
A framework that is based from a theory, and then a framework that is based from a theory, and then it is expanded more and more.
More and more, she said. It's based on a theory and expanded more and more. Yeah, she is talking about the theoretical framework. It means that the theoretical framework may consist of, it's based on one theory or more than one theory. So, okay, and it has been added to it by other researchers as well. But what do we mean by a theory? When I talk about a theory, what does it mean to you? Have you ever read any theory? What theory can you tell me?
Behaviorist theory.
Behaviorism, okay, what else? Yeah, this is related to learning, of course, language learning. What else?
Piaget's theory, Jean Piaget's theory,
What's that?
the hierarchy of, that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
this theory.
Okay. Maslow hierarchy of needs. Okay.
Child development.
It's about the child development. Okay. Any other theory? In critical discourse, accommodation theory, Fairclough theories, right? So yeah, different socio-cultural theory, also about learning. You know this socio-cultural theory, Vygotsky, the one who developed this theory. So okay, a theory is what? Huh?
It's a perception of a concept.
Perception of a concept.
By
Okay.
one person. Like Vygotsky stated,
Uh-huh.
and many people think that it's true, and that's why you follow them as a framework.
As a framework. She said that means that these theorists already have some concepts over, then other researchers have to follow this. They also test the theory, right? In other research, you mean. Okay, so it's assumptions, right? We can say assumptions. Assumptions, abstract ideas, something which explains to you how things work. Or, for example, like how learning occurs, how cognitive development of a child occurs or takes place, right? So this is a theory, just it gives you an abstract explanation of something. Then later, empirical studies will use this theory and try to test the theory. Maybe contribute to it, may have something also contradicting the theory. So mostly, if you look at these theories, they are very outdated, right? Especially in language learning, language acquisition, you will find them 1970 something. But till today, they are still valid. They are still valid, and research has been using them almost in every empirical study, researchers. So, okay, a theory is here, a proposed explanation or a set of propositions, assumptions describing events, relationship among events, and it's maybe a process of learning, acquisition, whatever you want to say. It depends on the area you are investigating. So it consists of abstract ideas, something abstract, abstract ideas, how nature works. Also, it's the foundation of your empirical study. When we talk about empirical study, means like your case. Now, you are going to collect data, analyze them, then you have finding results. We call this empirical research. Means practical things, because you are going to collect data, investigate them, analyze them, have results. So, okay, it's not theoretical. Results of these studies continue adding to previous theories. So here will be your theoretical contribution. Now you have a certain theory, and you did study on that theory, but you discover something also to add to the theory. So this we call theoretical contribution. Any question about this thing so far? Yes.
So both qualitative and quantitative should have a theoretical.
Either qual, yeah. It's not about the design.
Okay.
This theory is the foundation of your work.
Okay.
Usually they say the current study is based on Vygotsky theory, blah blah. So it's the foundation. Either it's as she said, quantitative or qualitative. But usually in quantitative, they have also models sometimes. They call it, not only in quant, even in qual, they have models. The models usually are, were developed by other researchers based on theories as well. For example, now if you see technology acceptance model, this one, technology acceptance model, this is very famous especially when you investigate learning with technology. So this model or framework was based on different theories before when it was developed. And it's still model till now, but some people, they are using it as a theoretical framework.
Excuse me?
Yep. Hello? Yeah.
Actually, you just mentioned the empirical research, and actually I read the article is about to refine some conceptions,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know how they collect data, but they just use some, maybe in linguistics, they just use some language sentence to prove, to refine conception. So which kind of research it is?
I didn't get you. This article, okay, which you read it, and the data was well collected from where?
They didn't mention.
They
where
didn't mention where the
collected
data
data.
from.
Maybe
Sometimes
just,
we have conceptual papers. Means that these papers just look at previous studies and it tries to come up with ideas how those studies already conceptualize something particular. For example, let's say how previous studies conceptualize peer interaction. What does it mean, peer interaction? From all this research done from 2000 till now. So I will go and review and come up with a conceptual paper. They call it conceptual paper. And it's different from a review paper. It's not necessarily to have a real data.
It's not
The
empirical.
data is the previous research.
Oh, so it's also empirical research, or it's another?
No, I don't think it's empirical research.
So how do we call it?
Just conceptual paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
conceptual.
Sometimes you will find also review paper. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
You know review paper? This review paper, you won't have data or real data like interviews, questionnaire, tests, all this data. You will have previous research, which is your data. Means that, okay, I choose this research topic. Now I will try to review all articles which has been done, or it depends on you when you want to do it. For example, I will say, okay, from 2000 till 2018. Then I will try to search all studies which have been conducted during this period, collect all them, so this will be my data. I collect, but what I want to do with this review, maybe I will try to find, for example, their findings in relation to research question like, for example, what patterns of interaction have been identified by previous research from 2000 till 2018. So I will be looking at their findings and see what are the results so far, and at the end of the day I will come up with maybe a framework, maybe I will try to conceptualize things as you said, or whatever. Yeah, it depends on you have questions, you have objectives, so then I will review them all, and this is called a review paper.
Oh, so conceptual paper is one kind of review paper.
It's like a review paper, that one, conceptual one.
Oh, so they're saying.
Yeah, because it depends on previous research.
Okay.
And also you may find another paper which is focusing on methodology. I will say, for example, okay, let's say what are the methodologies which have been used by previous studies in peer interaction or whatever. I mean, what kind of methodologies? So my focus will be on the methodologies used. How it was, what kind of data has been collected by those studies, and how peer interaction has been analyzed. So my focus will be on the methodology itself.
Dr. Murad,
Yeah, don't be confused about this. You will read later and you will know many things. Yeah, you want to ask?
is there any differences between models and frameworks?
Sorry?
Is there any differences between models and frameworks?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they call it, yeah, but no, usually when we talk about model in research, it's your own model. Maybe now I did a study, okay, I have done study, then at the end of the day I have findings, right? So I come up with a model based on my findings. That one I will call it a model.
What if I want to take a model that has been done by past researchers?
It's okay, you can use it, why not? Yeah, you can refer to it. I will show you later what is a model. So, like this one is a theory, okay? So, when you look at a theory like this one, for example, it's not just small theory, it's a big theory. It focuses on many things. Usually, the theory states that as learners interact together, so they develop their zone of proximal development, means that they develop their mentality and cognitive ability and learning as well. Okay, means because each learner will support another one. This theory in its initial stage was focusing on learners, one, for example, expert, and the other one is not expert. We call it novice, or more capable learner and less capable learner. So the theorist assumed that the more capable learner with this less capable learner, so learning will be better. Why? Because the one who is in higher level will support the one, this is we call scaffolding. You know scaffolding? Scaffolding means any support through the language, maybe not only through the language, verbal or non-verbal sometimes, non-verbal support. So this is what the theory says. But now when you look at this theory, it has been developed gradually. There are many scholars after this who also investigating the same topic and contributed to theory. When you read the theory in its current form, no, not necessarily the support come from higher to lower, because other studies have found that if we mix learners together as one group work or peer work, they are from the same level, means mutual. You know mutual? Yeah. So mutual, yeah. So sometimes they call it bi-directional. Meaning that we have student A, student B. So each one will be supporting the other one, not necessarily from higher to. So okay, what I mean, the theory has been developed gradually, but still used till today. It's valid. It especially people or researchers use this theory when they talk about peer learning, peer feedback, peer interaction, peer writing, all things which concentrate on group work or teamwork or whatever, okay? So what I mean also here, this theory is big, but suppose that I am going to use this theory to investigate certain aspect of like peer feedback. So I will not talk about the theory. I don't have to talk or to explain all the theory, no. I will introduce the theory first in general. This theory focuses on blah, blah, blah. But later on, I will go very specifically to my points. What I want to investigate and how is it related to this point. So suppose that I am investigating scaffolding. This we call scaffolding, which is language support among learners. So I will be using this theory and I will be talking about scaffolding. What is scaffolding? What other researchers have said about scaffolding, expert scaffolding, mutual scaffolding, peer scaffolding. So I will be talking all about these things. It means that I don't have to explain all the theory. A theoretical framework, it may consist of one or more than one theory. Maybe, okay, let's say I am going to examine, for example, collaborative, writing among learners or group writing, okay? I may use, under my theoretical framework, I will be use this one, social-cultural theory. Then another theory, maybe I will be using Bruce's writing. You know Bruce's writing? Bruce's writing means, it's a model also which focuses on writing as a process. Means that learners start, what's that? What are the stages of writing? When you start write, you usually do a draft, but before the draft, plan your writing, you can say. A plan, which is a plan, outline, Plan your writing, generate ideas, right? Then start writing the first draft. After that, revising, okay? So I may be talking about more than two theories under theoretical framework. But I will not talk about each theory indeed. I mean the whole theory, just whatever is related to my study. Remember, when you write a literature review, one of the issues will be whether this is relevant to your study or not. If it's not relevant, you don't need to have it. And literature review, we don't mean that you write too much and summarize many studies, no. what's the point if they are not relevant to your study? So the first thing will be questioned about, okay, how are these studies relevant to yours? And we will be talking about how you make your voice very, especially when it comes to highlighting the relevance of your of previous studies to your work.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused about the framework and theory. So, I mean, a framework
Okay.
can have different theories?
No. A framework, sometimes they call it in a thesis theoretical framework, because usually we have more than one theory. So under this framework, I will be talking about different theories. I will say, you will see the first sentence, the current study construct or a theoretical framework based on the good sky theory, Wagner theory, whatever theories.
So, a theoretical framework is like have so many theories.
Mhm. Yeah, not necessarily, maybe one theory.
Okay.
Maybe one theory enough. So it depends on what you want to do. Welcome. Okay, so important questions when discussing your theoretical framework. Okay, when you talk about the theory that you are going to use in your literature review, you will be asking questions like this. Ask yourself, who developed that theory? Of course, means the theorist, like that one, Vygotsky, right? Okay, so you will be talking about this theorist.
If we choose for the theory framework, right, is it necessary to, in our title of the research, right, is it necessary to fix in the theory, like we using this for the theory of that
In the title itself.
Yeah, is it necessary to put in, or we
No, not necessarily in the title.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Okay, but later on in the literature review. Okay, what was the origin? Maybe we will talk about the start of the theory, how it was initially developed at the initial stage. Then, how has the theory developed? You will be talking about, you will say, for example, many researchers investigating blah, 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 have been using this theory. So here you are trying to convince your readers that your topic, which has been investigated by other researchers, also use the same theory. Yeah, okay, means that you want to tell us indirectly this theory is related to my study. That's why I'm using it, okay? Yep.
Yes, so within the literature review, when you want to break it down, should it be by theory or by variable?
And later we will be talking about organizing, don't worry. So, okay, so that will be about organization. So, okay, who has used this theory? No, when I tell you here, you shouldn't maybe follow the same here, differently, but usually when I talk about the theory, I will start like that. Who developed the theory? This is natural. Then, okay, what is the theory about? What does it tell us? Okay, it means the focus of the theory. Then, how it has been developed, who have used this theory. Okay, what has been argued, debated about it, okay, by other researchers means. It means that, listen to me please, when I talk about a theory, I shouldn't just talk about the owner of the theory, the one who developed it. We call the one who developed a theory theorist. Theorist means a scholar who developed it. I shouldn't just make all my writing about the theory focusing on that theorist. No. I should also cite other researchers who have used it in other studies, like you, like your case. So, okay. What specific aspects of your study can this theory better explain? For example, like this one, as I told you. Okay, I will be talking about sociocultural theory, so then I will say this theory has been proved to be valid for investigating scaffolding, because scaffolding is my part of my study. So I will try to relate it to my study. How is it related to your investigation? Any question here? Any question? Clear, right? Sure. I hope so. Okay. I will give you an example here. I hope you will find it. I should bring it out, but soon. Sample theoretical framework. But this is extracted from a thesis, not just a paper. See the difference between the paper and the thesis. In the paper, you will find the literature review, one section, right? Small. But in the thesis, one chapter. Meaning that the theory will be, the theory section or the theoretical framework section will be larger. Okay, see here, we have this paragraph first. This section provides a discussion on the most relevant theoretical perspectives. Means more than one theory. Okay? Used in this study. It starts with a discussion on the social-cultural theory that places an emphasis on learners learning, blah, blah, blah. Then, moreover, the section discusses two important theoretical perspectives. So it means that the framework consists of three theories. Okay, this is number one. It goes to talk about the first theory. See, when you look at this, he starts with the theorist, right? Who developed it? Okay. Vygotsky postulated that human behavior develops as a result of interaction. Then it goes to see talking, because usually in a theory there are constructs. We call them constructs. Construct means different aspect the theory focuses on. So, for example, here we have ZBD, which is the zone of proximal development in this theory. What is it? I have to define it. Okay? Then, not necessarily to talk about the theorists. You see? Here, I move to talk about other researchers who have used this theory. You see here? And I talk about scaffolding. Okay. See? I will be talking about other scholars who have contributed to the theory. Like this one. This one is considered as a big contributor to theory. See? All I talk about how they conceptualize ZBD, what does it mean, and scaffolding. Okay? You see? So you will be going and talking about all this. Let's see the last paragraph, sorry. See, finally, in summing up the main points of the theory, regardless, because there are two arguments about this. Some should be expert, and others they will say mutual scaffolding. So here, they will have, you will have to position yourself, okay, and tell us why it is related. Why is this here related to yours? See, this paragraph, there is no citation, right? Means your voice. Clear, right? Here the writer is trying to tell us this theory is very related to mine. So, okay, that's it. Then it will move to talk about other theories. But in the proposal, you don't have to have subsection like this for the theories. You will say just theoretical framework or theory, the name of the theory, then maybe 2 paragraphs. I don't think. How many you are asked to write? How many words? The word limit.
For the proposal?
For the proposal, for this course. 1,000 something, I think, right? Yeah, not that too long, yes. So, okay, but maybe later on, when I talk here, I am talking for your thesis, not just for this small proposal, for your thesis as well. Okay, see, cognitive and social theories of writing. It keeps talking about the same thing here, and also trying to say how these are related to my study. So this is what we mean by a theoretical framework, and usually in the context of a thesis, it should be the first section in the chapter of the literature review. First section will be 2-1 theoretical framework or the name of the theory that you want to use. So, okay. Any question about a theory, what a theory is? Have you ever thought of your theory? What was that? Can you tell me about the theories you are going to use? Yeah.
Doctor, theories very necessary in the literature review because sometimes I found some papers they are just there are on some concrete theories.
No need. Yeah, you mean to use a theory or what?
I mean, is it very necessary in the literature review? Because sometimes I find in some papers.
Yeah, in some papers, sometimes they don't use theories, right?
Yeah,
You are right.
They
You just
the
empirical studies.
findings.
The findings
from
of other studies, okay.
Yes.
But no, in a thesis, I think it's important. You should be using a theory. I'm talking especially here about a thesis. Even in the paper, you will find some of them use theories because, I mean, it gives a value to your study. Suppose that you are doing something in communication, you will find theories in communication. In critical discourse, there are theories. In social linguistics, there are theories as well. In culture, language learning, second language acquisition, there are theories. So whatever you want to investigate, it's better to have a theory or theories. So from this you have seen how the author or the writer has constructed the theoretical framework based on different theories, right? And how he has cited from previous researchers to support why this theory is valid and related to his study or her study. So, and there are conclusions summing up. You see, the last paragraph, it's concluding paragraph, and where you can see the author's voice. Yeah, because you are trying to evaluate something, so you will have that kind of voice. How to evaluate previous studies. Okay. Now, we agree that in the first section you will have, but this depends also on the display, and sometimes there are variations. Okay, let's